They laughed at his damaged armor until he took it off, silencing the room before the alien. Hallways lined with holographic banners displayed the achievements of past cadets, but today none of that mattered. Today, the human cadets would meet a species that no one had ever encountered before. The aliens were said to be imposing, intelligent, and highly observant. The species' reputation alone made the academy buzzing with whispers. Commander Elias Var walked down the corridor, his boots clicking on the polished metal floor. His armor, once shining and pristine, was now dented, scratched, and marred by the countless battles he had survived. Every mark on it told a story, some of courage, others of mistakes, but to the untrained eye it looked like he was careless, outdated, or weak. "You're seriously going to wear that?" One young cadet, a fresh recruit named Ryan, muttered under his breath, barely loud enough for Elias to hear. "Look at it, it's falling apart. What kind of example is that?" Elias didn't turn. He had learned long ago that the words of the inexperienced were like wind, noticeable only if you let them bother you. He focused on the path ahead. The alien delegation would arrive soon, and he needed to prepare, not to impress his peers, but to be ready for what was coming. "Hey, are you even listening?" Another cadet called, louder this time, with a teasing smirk. "Look at your armor. If we're supposed to fight aliens, maybe we should lend you a new one. Or, better yet, tape some cardboard to you and call it a shield." The room echoed with laughter. Some cadets nudged each other, pointing at the dents on Elias' chest plate, the scratch that ran across his shoulder, and the missing plating near his forearm. Even cadets who usually stayed silent joined in. It was easier, they thought, to laugh than to confront their own insecurities. Elias stopped. He looked around at the group of cadets, their youthful faces bright with mockery and ignorance. He raised a single hand. "Enough," he said, his voice calm but firm, carrying the weight of experience that no cadet could challenge. "We have a mission today, and the only thing that matters is what we do when we face it, not how polished our armor looks." The room fell into silence for a moment, though some still whispered behind his back. Elias didn't argue further. Mockery was expected. He had faced it many times before, but he did not let it define him. Outside the main hall, the sky shimmered with the light of distant stars. The academy was perched on a cliff-like plateau, overlooking a valley filled with training grounds, and beyond that, the endless stretch of the galaxy. The aliens' transport ships had just entered the atmosphere, sleek and silver, moving with a grace that was unsettlingly precise. The cadets, including Elias' peers, began gathering in the main hall. The hall was vast, circular, with holographic displays floating above showing human achievements in exploration, science, and diplomacy. Today, however, those achievements would be judged by eyes that were not human, eyes that could see beyond appearances. Elias adjusted his armor, ignoring the squeaks and rattles that reminded him of its age. Each dent was a memory: a skirmish near the asteroid belt, a planetary defense mission, a routine patrol gone wrong. He had survived situations that could have ended the careers or lives of younger cadets, and yet here he was being laughed at for his worn-out armor. "Why is he even here?" whispered one cadet to another, eyes wide as Elias walked past. "They should have sent someone newer. Someone better looking. This is embarrassing." Elias ignored them. He had learned to walk through mockery as a soldier walks through fire, without flinching, without hesitation. What mattered was not their opinion, but the task ahead. Then the silence shifted. A low hum filled the room as the alien ships touched down outside. The cadets pressed themselves closer to the walls, a mix of fear and curiosity in their eyes. The aliens were about to enter, and the atmosphere changed instantly. Even the loudest mockers became quiet. When the alien delegation entered, they moved with elegance and precision. They were tall, their bodies elongated and covered in a textured skin that shimmered in the light. Their eyes were large, reflective, and intelligent, scanning the human cadets with a quiet curiosity. For a moment, no one moved. The cadets stared at the visitors, unsure whether to bow, salute, or simply remain still. Elias stepped forward instinctively, his posture straight, his armor clanking slightly as he moved. He did not bow, he did not flinch. He simply stood, a veteran facing an unknown force with calm confidence. The alien leader paused, its gaze falling on Elias. The other cadets shifted nervously. Why was it focusing on him? He was just one person and his armor was damaged. Surely the aliens would notice the young cadets in full, polished gear before paying attention to someone who looked battle-worn. But the alien leader did not move past him. It studied him, tilting its head in what could only be interpreted as interest. Elias did not move. He felt the weight of every eye in the room, human and alien alike, but he did not waver. He had faced death, fear, and uncertainty many times before. A staring contest with an alien was nothing by comparison. Finally, a voice echoed in the hall. It was calm, melodic, and yet carried an authority that resonated in every corner. "You are Elias Var," the alien leader asked in perfect, human-translated English. The translation device hummed quietly in the background. "I am," Elias replied, voice steady, clear. "I represent the human cadets of this academy, and I am prepared for whatever task you set before us." A murmur ran through the human cadets. Some of them, even those who had mocked him earlier, felt a twinge of respect, or maybe a hint of fear. Elias had not only survived battles, he now carried himself with a confidence that demanded attention. The alien leader circled slowly, scanning the room and then returning to Elias. "Your armor, it is damaged," it observed. "Yet you wear it proudly. Why?" Elias' hand rested on his chest, where the armor had been dented in the last skirmish. "Each mark tells a story," he said simply. "I have faced challenges and I have survived. My armor may be damaged, but it does not define me. My experience, my training, and my courage do." Silence followed. The cadets stared, suddenly aware of how small their earlier mockery seemed. The aliens made no noise, but their eyes seemed to acknowledge the weight of Elias' words. A young cadet, the one who had laughed the loudest, looked down at his feet. He could feel the heat of embarrassment creeping into his face. He realized that the mockery was meaningless here. What mattered was ability, courage, and heart, qualities that could not be measured by shiny armor or flawless appearances. The alien leader paused, then motioned for the humans to follow. "The test begins," it said. "Follow me." Elias led the way, his armor rattling softly with each step but his posture unbroken. He had been laughed at, underestimated, and doubted, but none of that mattered now. The aliens would see him as he truly was: human, experienced, resilient, and ready to face whatever challenge awaited. As they moved toward the training grounds outside, the cadets whispered among themselves, some of them apologizing silently to Elias, others still trying to hide their awe. For the first time, they realized that humanity's strength was not in appearances, in technology, or in polished gear. It was in courage, perseverance, and the unyielding will to face the unknown. Elias, however, did not concern himself with their realization. His focus was on the path ahead, on the challenge that awaited, and on proving, not to the cadets, but to the universe, that humans were not to be underestimated. The first rays of the alien sun glinted off the distant mountains as they reached the outer training grounds. The alien leader stopped and turned to face the humans. The test, Elias knew, would be unlike any drill, any simulation, or any battle he had ever faced. And yet he felt a calm certainty. He had survived worse. He had faced impossible odds before, and he would face this too. As the alien delegation observed him and the cadets, Elias adjusted his armor one last time. It was battered, dented, and scarred, but to him it was not a weakness. It was proof. Proof that he had endured, that he had learned, and that he would continue to stand tall, no matter what came next. The other cadets looked on, some with fear, some with hope, and some with newfound respect. Elias did not smile. He did not boast. He simply stood ready. The alien studied him in silence. And in that silence, a single truth became clear. Humanity was more than its armor, more than its weapons, more than its appearances. Humanity was something else entirely, a force that could not be dismissed, a spirit that could not be broken, and a courage that would soon be tested like never before. The mockery was over. The real challenge had begun. The training ground stretched out before the cadets like a vast, open arena. The ground was a smooth, reflective surface that shimmered under the light of the alien sun. Strange geometric structures rose from the floor, their shapes shifting subtly as if alive. The cadets paused, taking in the surreal environment, unsure where to start. Commander Elias Var led the group, his armor clanking lightly with each step. The other cadets trailed behind, some hesitant, some whispering nervously to each other. The alien leader, tall and imposing, stood at the far end of the arena. Its eyes, large and intelligent, scanned every human with unsettling precision. "This is not a test of weapons," the alien leader said, its voice calm but echoing through the vast space. "It is a test of courage, creativity, and adaptability. You will be judged not by your strength but by your choices." The cadets exchanged confused glances. Some had expected combat drills or simulations. Others had trained extensively for tactical exercises. But this was different. It was unpredictable. "You will face challenges that are not always physical," the alien leader continued. "Some will test your mind. Some will test your spirit. And some will test your unity as a group. Proceed when ready." Elias motioned for the cadets to follow. "Stay close. Watch each other's backs. And remember, fear is natural, but hesitation can be fatal." The first structure they approached was a large, translucent cube that hovered slightly above the ground. Inside, faint shapes moved, shifting constantly like liquid glass. "What is this?" whispered one cadet, his voice trembling. "Focus," Elias replied, his eyes on the cube. "We don't know yet. Observe before reacting." The cube suddenly expanded, engulfing the cadets in a soft, glowing light. They felt themselves lifted slightly off the ground. Shapes inside the cube began to take form, creatures that resembled nothing they had ever seen. Their forms twisted and shimmered, constantly changing. "Don't panic," Elias said firmly. "Remember what the alien leader said. It's a test, not a threat." The creatures inside the cube seemed to respond to fear. When cadets flinched, the shapes grew sharper, more menacing. When cadets stood still and observed, the shapes softened, almost calming. Elias realized the challenge was not to fight, but to control their own reactions. He stepped forward, placing himself between the cube and the younger cadets. "Look at them closely," he instructed. "Notice how they change when you change. Your fear feeds them. Your calmness diminishes them." Slowly, the cadets mirrored his approach. They took deep breaths, focused their minds, and allowed themselves to understand rather than react. The creatures gradually slowed, their chaotic movements becoming gentle patterns. The alien leader nodded. "Observation and composure are noted. Continue." The next challenge awaited. A series of floating platforms suspended over a deep, mist-filled pit. The platforms shifted in unpredictable patterns, moving faster or slower depending on the cadets' movements. One wrong step could mean falling into the mist below. The cadets hesitated. Many of them were skilled in agility and balance, but the platforms seemed almost alive, testing not just their physical skills but their coordination and trust in each other. Elias stepped onto the first platform without hesitation. He moved deliberately, his eyes scanning the shifting surfaces. "Follow me," he said. "Step carefully but do not rush. Watch each other." The cadets began to move, some faltering at first. One young cadet slipped, catching the edge with a scream. Elias reached out instinctively, helping him regain balance. "Steady, focus. Fear will make it worse." As they moved across the platforms, Elias noticed a pattern. The platforms responded not just to fear, but also to indecision. Hesitation made them unstable, while confident movement made them steady. It was not enough to be skilled physically. They needed mental clarity and trust in themselves. By the time they reached the final platform, the cadets were breathing heavily, hearts pounding, but they had succeeded. The alien leader observed silently, its eyes reflecting faint approval. "Most impressive," it said. "Few species show such control over both mind and body." Yet the greatest test is yet to come. The cadets exchanged anxious glances. They had faced strange illusions and precarious platforms. What could be left? The alien leader motioned to a vast chamber at the edge of the grounds. Inside, the walls were smooth and featureless, the floor glowing faintly under their feet. In the center of the room floated a small, metallic orb, spinning slowly and emitting a soft hum. "This is a test of ingenuity," the alien leader explained. "You must reach the orb and unlock its secrets. There is no single path and there is no guide. Your choices will determine the outcome." Elias approached the orb carefully. "Stay close," he instructed the cadets. "Analyze first, act second, don't rush." The orb pulsed with light, reacting to their movements. When they approached too aggressively, it moved away. When they moved with hesitation, it remained distant. Elias realized that, like the previous tests, this challenge required understanding, not brute force. "Think, don't act," he murmured. "We need to work together." The cadets began experimenting cautiously, observing the orb's reactions. Some tried to touch it directly and failed. Others attempted to manipulate it from a distance, only to have it move unpredictably. Finally, Elias noticed a subtle pattern. The orb responded to synchronized movement and calm intention. "Step in unison," he instructed. "Focus on the same rhythm. Don't think about success, just think about the process." The cadets followed his lead, moving carefully and harmoniously. Slowly, the orb began to slow its rotation, hovering steadily above their heads. A faint glow enveloped the cadets, and the orb opened slightly, revealing a complex mechanism inside. "You see," Elias said quietly. "Sometimes the key is not force, but unity and understanding." The cadets marveled at the revelation. The younger cadets who had mocked him for his armor now looked at Elias with quiet respect. He had not only guided them through the challenges, but had demonstrated the power of experience, observation, and calm decision-making. The alien leader's voice echoed in the chamber. "You demonstrate qualities rare among known species: composure, creativity, and cooperation. But there is one final aspect of the test." Elias straightened, anticipating the next trial. "And what is that?" he asked calmly. "Courage," the alien leader replied simply. "The ability to face yourself without armor, without protection, without pretense." The cadets looked at each other, confused. Courage was already required in every part of the test. What could the aliens mean by facing themselves? Elias understood immediately. The test was no longer about the external challenges, the shifting platforms, the creatures, or the orb. It was about proving the human spirit itself: vulnerability, confidence, and resilience in the absence of external defenses. He turned to his cadets. "Prepare yourselves," he said. "This is the part most cannot handle, but remember, our strength does not come from armor, weapons, or appearances. It comes from who we are inside." The alien leader motioned to the cadets. Each one was to remove any non-essential equipment, revealing themselves fully, not as warriors in gear, but as humans. Elias went first, stepping forward and loosening the straps of his armor. His battle-worn chest plate, dented and scarred, fell to the ground with a soft clang. The room fell silent. Cadets who had mocked him earlier looked away, suddenly aware of the courage it took to stand exposed. Elias' scars were visible, evidence of survival and experience, but he did not hide them. He stood tall, calm, and unafraid. "Your turn," he said gently, encouraging the younger cadets. Fear is natural, courage is facing it anyway. One by one the cadets followed, some trembled, some hesitated, but Elias remained close, offering quiet support. The alien leader watched, silent and observant, noting not the physical appearance of the humans, but their willingness to confront vulnerability with composure. When the last cadet had removed their protective gear, the alien leader stepped forward. Its eyes lingered on Elias, then moved across the group. "You are stronger than most species we have encountered," it said. "Not because of weapons or technology, but because of resilience, unity, and courage. These qualities define you, and they define humanity." The cadets exhaled, relief and pride mixing in their hearts. They had succeeded, not through force or luck, but through understanding, cooperation, and bravery. Elias retrieved his armor, placing it gently on the ground beside him. The dents and scratches were still there, but they no longer mattered. Today, his cadets had seen something far greater than metal and plating. They had seen the essence of human strength. The alien leader stepped back, its eyes reflecting respect. "The test is complete. You have proven yourselves. Remember these lessons, for they are far more valuable than any training exercise or weapon. You are humans, and your strength lies within." The cadets nodded, humbled and inspired. For Elias, the day had reinforced a truth he had always known. Appearances could deceive, equipment could fail, but the human spirit was unyielding. And in that moment, even the cadets who had once mocked his damaged armor understood. Humanity was more than armor, more than gear, more than appearances. Humanity was courage, resilience, and the will to face the unknown with unwavering resolve. The challenge was over. But the lesson, the real lesson, would remain forever. The alien chamber was quiet now, filled with an almost tangible tension. The cadets stood in small groups, whispers barely escaping their lips. Each of them had faced trials unlike anything they had ever imagined. The floating cube, the shifting platforms, the mysterious orb, each had tested their minds, bodies, and teamwork. But now, something deeper awaited. Elias stood at the center of the chamber, his damaged armor at his feet. The dents and scratches caught the soft light, reflecting a history of countless battles. The younger cadets who had once laughed at him now looked at him with cautious respect. They could see the courage in his stance, the calm in his eyes. Elias had faced fear before, and he was not about to let doubt influence him now. The alien leader moved forward, its towering figure imposing yet graceful. Its eyes, large and reflective, scanned the humans carefully, pausing at Elias. "You have proven your ability to face external challenges," the alien said. "Now you must face the greatest challenge of all, the truth of who you are. Your strength is not measured by weapons, armor, or appearance. It is measured by your willingness to reveal yourself completely, to stand unshielded before the unknown." Elias' eyes met the alien's, steady and unwavering. He had understood the message long before the alien spoke. The true test was not external, it was internal. It was about confronting fear, doubt, and vulnerability with courage and honesty. "Show them," Elias said quietly to the cadets. "Show them what it means to be human, not through armor or weaponry, but through resolve, resilience, and spirit." One by one, the cadets began to step forward. Their armor clattered lightly as they removed it, revealing scars, sweat-stained uniforms, and nervous expressions. Each cadet displayed a mix of pride and hesitation. Some were trembling, some were trying to maintain composure. Yet with every removal of gear, the atmosphere shifted. Fear gave way to courage, hesitation to determination. The cadets had been trained for physical endurance, strategic thinking, and teamwork. But this moment tested something more profound, their ability to embrace vulnerability while maintaining dignity. Elias observed quietly, offering silent encouragement. He did not rush anyone. Courage, he knew, could not be forced. It had to be earned, nurtured, and chosen. Finally, all cadets had removed their armor except Elias. He looked at the younger soldiers. Their faces showed awe and a hint of disbelief. Many had never seen someone confront vulnerability so openly, so confidently. They remembered their earlier mockery of his battle-worn armor. That laughter now seemed shallow, meaningless compared to the truth that stood before them. Elias stepped forward and extended his arm slightly, not in threat, but in honesty. His scars, muscles, and lean frame were exposed, testaments to experience and endurance. Each mark told a story: a near-fatal encounter on a distant asteroid, a rescue mission under enemy fire, months of survival on harsh, uncharted planets. Every cadet could see that this was not weakness, it was strength. The alien leader's eyes narrowed slightly, focusing intently. It had observed many species throughout the galaxy, but few had shown such raw, unshielded courage. Humans were different. Not stronger in physical form compared to some species, not faster than others, and not equipped with the most advanced technology. But their adaptability, resilience, and courage were unmatched. "You are Elias Var," the alien said softly, yet the voice resonated throughout the chamber. "Your armor is damaged, yet you stand unprotected. You have faced fear, uncertainty, and mockery, and yet you reveal yourself fully. Few species can do this. Fewer still survive it without hesitation. What drives you, human?" Elias met its gaze steadily. "Survival alone is not enough. To survive is instinctual. To thrive, to face fear without surrender, to lead when others hesitate, this is human strength. Armor protects the body, but courage protects the spirit." The cadets watched silently, hanging on his every word. Some could feel a shiver of pride in their chests. Others realized how limited their understanding had been, how they had judged based on appearances alone. Elias' revelation was more than physical courage. It was the embodiment of everything humans had always been capable of: resilience, ingenuity, and the indomitable spirit that refused to yield. The alien leader took a step closer, its reflective eyes scanning every scar, every mark, every detail of Elias' exposed form. It seemed to study not just the body, but the energy radiating from him, the calm, the strength, the resolve. The cadets could sense the alien's growing respect. "You have endured," the alien said. "You have survived where many would have fallen. You have led when others faltered. Your armor is damaged, but it is not the armor that defines you. It is the experience, the choices, and the courage behind it. You embody qualities that make humans remarkable." Elias felt a quiet warmth at the recognition, but he remained composed. This was not about ego or praise. It was about understanding, about demonstrating the truth of humanity to a species that evaluated strength differently. He had been laughed at for his armor, dismissed for his appearance, underestimated for his age and experience. And now, in the silence of the chamber, he was more visible than ever, not because of armor, but because of who he truly was. The younger cadets began to grasp the lesson. Mockery, fear, and doubt were fleeting. True strength, courage, and respect came from within. They had followed Elias through impossible challenges, but now they saw the final, undeniable proof. Humans were extraordinary not because of their technology, not because of polished armor, but because of their spirit. One of the younger cadets, a timid recruit named Lyra, whispered, I never understood before. It's not the armor, it's him. It's the courage inside." Elias gave her a small nod, acknowledging her realization without interrupting the alien observation. Each cadet had their own understanding dawning, their own appreciation forming. The alien leader moved closer still, hovering slightly above the ground. Its gaze lingered on Elias, studying every line, every scar, every nuance. Then, almost imperceptibly, it inclined its head in recognition. "You have demonstrated what few species can," the alien said. "Not power, not speed, not weapons, but the courage to stand fully human. This is remarkable. This is rare." The room fell into silence again. Not a whisper, not a movement. Only the quiet acknowledgement of the cadets, the alien leader, and Elias himself. Elias knelt slightly to retrieve his armor, lifting it slowly. The cadets expected him to put it back on, to hide his scars, to cover his vulnerability. But he did not. Instead, he placed the battered armor on the ground beside him, leaving it exposed as a testament to experience, survival, and lessons learned. The alien leader observed this with quiet fascination. You show restraint, humility, and wisdom. Few species possess the clarity to reveal themselves without fear of judgment or failure. Your actions, your choice to remain unarmored, demonstrates a deeper courage than any battle could. Elias straightened, meeting the alien's gaze once more. Courage is not the absence of fear, he said. It is acting despite it. My armor protected me physically, but my courage protects the spirit of humanity. That is what allows us to face the unknown, adapt, and survive. The cadets looked at Elias in awe. Those who had mocked him before now understood something profound. The man they had laughed at, the armor they had dismissed, embodied the essence of humanity. Not the shine of new metal, not the perfection of design, not the absence of scars, but the ability to endure, to adapt, and to act with courage. The alien leader seemed to consider this carefully, its eyes reflecting the light of the chamber. Your species is unusual, it said finally. Many rely on technology, armor, or raw power. You rely on something else entirely, something enduring. This is a trait worthy of respect and observation. Elias did not respond immediately. He simply stood, silent and confident, letting the alien draw its own conclusions. The cadets, too, absorbed the lesson. They had witnessed something extraordinary, a human standing unprotected before an alien species, yet radiating strength that no weapon or armor could replicate. After a long pause, the alien leader spoke again. You are more than your armor. You are more than your strength. You are human, and that perhaps is your greatest weapon. The cadets held their breath. Elias' message had been clear, but now the aliens themselves had acknowledged it. Humanity, despite its imperfections, despite its reliance on ingenuity rather than sheer power, possessed qualities that few species could match. Elias looked at the cadets, his voice calm but carrying authority. Let this be a lesson. Your gear, your tools, your armor, they are important, but they are not you. Your courage, your choices, your resilience, they define who you are. Never forget that. The alien leader inclined its head again, as if confirming Elias' words. The cadets, now fully attentive, felt a mix of awe, pride, and inspiration. They understood why Elias had endured ridicule, why he had been mocked, and why he had remained unshaken. Today, he had shown them the true measure of humanity. In that quiet chamber, amid glowing walls and floating orbs, one truth became undeniable. Humans were extraordinary, not because of the shine of their armor, but because of the courage that lay beneath. Elias bent down, touching a dent on his chest plate. Every mark tells a story, he said softly. Every scar reminds us of what we survived. Armor can be damaged, but courage endures. The cadets nodded silently. Some wiped away tears of relief or pride. Others simply stared, absorbing the lesson in awe. They had followed a leader who had been mocked, underestimated, and dismissed, and had emerged as the embodiment of everything humans could be. The alien leader stepped back, its presence still commanding yet strangely respectful. The demonstration is complete, it said. You have shown qualities that few species possess. This is the revelation we sought. Observe it, understand it, respect it. Elias picked up his armor but left it unfastened. He had proven the point. Humanity's greatest strength was not in armor, not in weapons, not in appearances. It was in the courage, adaptability, and unyielding spirit of those who faced the unknown. The cadets gathered around him, their whispers now filled with admiration instead of mockery. They understood what Elias had known all along. Human strength came from within, from choices, from courage, and from the willingness to face fear unflinchingly. The alien leader inclined its head once more, as if sealing the recognition. Elias stood tall, fully human, unarmored yet more powerful than ever in the eyes of both his cadets and the alien observers. The revelation was complete. Humanity had shown its true face. And the universe would take notice. The chamber was filled with a quiet tension that seemed almost alive. The cadets stood in stunned silence, still absorbing what had just happened. Elias, unarmored and calm, had revealed himself completely, not just his scars or muscles, but the strength that came from experience, resilience, and courage. The younger cadets who had mocked him earlier now felt a mix of awe and shame. The alien leader hovered slightly above the ground, observing Elias with unflinching intensity. Its reflective eyes scanned every scar, every movement, every subtle expression. The other alien delegates followed suit, their silence heavy and deliberate. There was no noise, no gesture, yet the weight of their attention was palpable. The cadets shifted nervously. Some glanced at each other, uncertain how to react. The once confident whispers and stifled giggles were gone. Every human present could feel that this moment was different. Elias had done something more than prove courage. He had revealed the essence of humanity itself. A young cadet, Ryan, who had been the loudest critic earlier, felt a lump in his throat. He remembered mocking Elias' armor, pointing out every dent, every scratch, laughing as if it mattered. And now, seeing Elias stand unafraid, completely exposed, Ryan realized just how shallow his judgment had been. I didn't understand, Ryan whispered, almost to himself. I thought strength was armor, skill, weapons. I was wrong. Lyra, the timid cadet who had begun to grasp Elias' lesson in Part 3, nodded quietly. It's not the armor, she said softly. It's him. It's what's inside. The courage, the choices, that's real strength. Elias observed them silently. He did not scold, nor did he boast. The lesson was already taking hold in the minds of his cadets. True leadership, he knew, was often quiet. Sometimes the greatest teaching came not from words but from example. The alien leader finally spoke, its voice calm but resonant, cutting through the chamber's stillness. You have revealed something extraordinary, it said. A species capable of enduring, adapting, and leading without relying solely on external protection. A species whose courage is rooted in experience, not in equipment. This is unusual. The cadets exchanged glances. Elias' scars, his calm demeanor, his choice to stand unarmored, it was not just a demonstration. It was a declaration. Humans were not defined by what they wore or carried. Humans were defined by what they were willing to endure, to face, and to overcome. The silence stretched longer. Even the younger cadets who had been hesitant to remove their armor now understood why Elias had done it first. By standing fully exposed, he had communicated a message no words could fully convey. Humanity's greatest strength lay not in its technology, but in its courage, ingenuity, and willpower. The alien leader circled slowly around Elias, its movement deliberate and measured. Few species possess such resilience, it said. Few display this level of calm under observation, under scrutiny, under doubt. You stand unprotected, yet you are stronger than many we have encountered in battle. Elias met the alien's gaze without flinching. He had faced countless dangers before, hostile planets, enemy ambushes, survival missions where every decision could mean life or death. Compared to those experiences, standing in a quiet chamber before alien observers, unarmored, was nothing. Strength, he said softly, addressing both the aliens and the cadets, is not measured by what surrounds you, but by what you carry inside. Armor can break, weapons can fail, and appearances can deceive. But courage, resilience, and determination cannot be taken from you. They are yours alone. The cadets felt the words resonate deep within them. Some nodded, understanding for the first time the lesson Elias had been living all along. Others simply stared, awed by the quiet power of his presence. The alien leader paused, hovering in place. You demonstrate qualities that many species possess only in theory. Humans display them naturally, instinctively, without prompting. This is remarkable. The cadet's murmurs grew quieter. The chamber felt heavier, almost sacred. Elia's simple act of standing unarmored had silenced the room, not with intimidation but with truth. The aliens were impressed. The humans were humbled. Elias looked at his armor lying on the floor, battered, dented, and scarred. Once it had been a source of pride, a symbol of survival in countless battles. Now it was merely evidence of the challenges he had faced, a reminder that protection was never absolute. True strength came from within. The alien leader tilted its head slightly, a gesture that seemed almost contemplative. Your species is unusual, it said. Many rely on technology, armor, or brute strength. Few can endure as you have. Few can reveal themselves fully without fear of judgment or harm. You have done this. You have succeeded. Elias nodded quietly, accepting the acknowledgement without arrogance. He had not done this to impress anyone. He had done it because it was necessary for the cadets, for the humans, and now for the aliens to see the truth. The younger cadets began to speak among themselves in hushed tones. Lyra whispered, "I can't believe I laughed at him, I see now. He's incredible." Ryan, still shaken, added, "It's more than that, it's not just him, it's humanity. This is who we are." Elias looked at them, a faint smile appearing on his face. He had not needed their validation, but it was satisfying to see the lesson take hold. The room had been silenced not by fear or intimidation, but by understanding, by the revelation of human courage. The alien leader extended a limb, a gesture that humans could interpret as acknowledgement or respect. You have demonstrated resilience, intelligence, and courage. You have surpassed expectations. Humanity is exceptional. For the first time, the cadets saw the aliens not as intimidating creatures, but as beings capable of recognizing true merit. The moment was profound. Every human present felt the weight of the acknowledgement. They had been tested and they had passed, not through weapons, not through polished armor, but through their character and spirit. Elias stepped forward, addressing the cadets one last time. "Remember this moment," he said. "Strength is not in your gear or appearances. It is in your choices, your courage, and your resolve. What you carry inside defines you far more than anything else." The cadets nodded silently, the lesson sinking deep into their minds. Even those who had doubted themselves now understood. Elias' demonstration had shown them a truth that would stay with them forever. Humans could endure, adapt, and lead, even in the most challenging circumstances. The alien leader hovered for a final moment, then spoke. "The demonstration is complete. Your courage and resolve are noted and respected. Humanity's reputation among known species will grow because of this display. You have proven remarkable." The room remained quiet, the weight of the moment still palpable. Elias picked up his armor not to wear it, but to show that even though it had protected him in the past, it was no longer necessary to define his strength. The cadets looked at him, their eyes filled with admiration, respect, and newfound understanding. For the first time they truly saw him, not just as a commander but as a symbol of human resilience. The laughter, the mockery, the doubt, they were gone, replaced by awe and respect. The alien leader inclined its head once more, a gesture of recognition that humans could understand. "You have revealed the essence of humanity," it said. "We will remember this. Others will too. Your courage, your resilience, and your spirit are exceptional." The cadets remained silent, but the message had sunk in. They had witnessed something extraordinary, a human standing unarmored, fully exposed, and yet stronger than anyone could imagine. Elias had not needed to fight, intimidate, or command attention. He had only needed to be himself, resilient, courageous, and unyielding. The silence lingered for a long moment. Then slowly the cadets began to speak, not in laughter or mockery, but in quiet admiration. They shared glances filled with respect, acknowledging both Elias and the lesson he had taught them. Elias looked at them, proud but composed. He had guided them through challenges, revealed the true measure of humanity, and shown that courage was the most powerful force in the universe. Armor could be repaired, weapons could be upgraded, but courage and resilience were eternal. The alien leader finally stepped back, signaling the end of the demonstration. "The observation is complete," it said. "Humanity has shown qualities that deserve respect. We will share this knowledge. Your species' potential is extraordinary." Elias nodded quietly, accepting the recognition. The cadets gathered around him, their faces filled with awe and pride. For the first time, they truly understood what it meant to be human, not defined by armor or weapons, but by courage, choice, and spirit. The chamber remained silent for a final moment, heavy with understanding and respect. Then, slowly, the cadets began to leave, their whispers now filled with admiration instead of mockery. Elias followed, his armor clanking lightly as he moved, a quiet reminder that experience and courage were far more important than appearances. Outside, the sky was filled with the light of the alien sun, casting long shadows across the training grounds. The cadets walked together, their steps lighter, their hearts filled with understanding. They had witnessed something extraordinary, a human standing unarmored, courageous, and resolute. And in doing so, they had seen the true face of humanity. Elias looked at his cadets and smiled faintly. They had learned the lesson. Humanity was strong, not because of technology, armor, or weapons, but because of courage, resilience, and the unyielding spirit that refused to surrender, no matter the odds. And in that silence, in that quiet acknowledgement from the aliens and cadets alike, the truth became clear. Humanity's strength was undeniable and its courage unmatched. The room was silent. But the message had been heard loud and clear. The alien chamber, once tense and filled with quiet awe, now seemed almost serene. The cadets stood together, still absorbing the lessons of courage, resilience, and unity that Elias had so powerfully demonstrated. The alien leader hovered in the center, observing every human with a quiet, calculating gaze, its large, reflective eyes seeming to weigh not only their actions but their potential. Elias remained unarmored, standing tall with a calm certainty that radiated to everyone around him. The younger cadets who had mocked him earlier now looked at him with a mixture of admiration and newfound understanding. Every dent and scratch in his armor, every scar on his body, now told a story of experience, endurance, and human courage, a story that needed no explanation. "You have demonstrated remarkable qualities," the alien leader said at last, its voice deep and resonant. "Humanity is unusual. Few species survive as you do. Fewer still face exposure, vulnerability, and judgment without fear. You have earned our respect." The cadets shifted uneasily, unsure how to respond. Respect from another species was different from praise among humans. It carried weight. It carried significance. It meant that the aliens, who observed and evaluated countless civilizations, now acknowledged the essence of humanity. Elias stepped forward, speaking calmly yet firmly. "Respect is not given, it is earned. Today, my cadets have proven that courage, choice, and resilience define humanity far more than armor or weaponry. Let this moment be remembered, not as a test of strength, but as a lesson of spirit." The alien leader regarded him silently, then inclined its head in a gesture that Elias understood perfectly. It was a gesture of recognition, acknowledgement, and perhaps even admiration. "Humans rely not only on tools," the alien said, "but on ingenuity, adaptability, and courage. You demonstrate that your species is capable of more than mere survival. You thrive through determination, creativity, and unity. These are qualities worthy of notice and respect." The cadets exchanged glances. Some were smiling quietly while others simply stood in awe, still trying to fully grasp the significance of what they had witnessed. For them, the lesson was no longer abstract. It was real. It was alive. They had seen it in Elias. They had felt it in the silence of the chamber. They had understood it through experience. Elias looked at his cadets and spoke again, softly but with authority. Today was more than a test. It was a chance to see the truth of who we are. Some may judge us by appearances, by equipment, by reputation, but none of that matters when the spirit is tested. Our greatest strength lies not in the armor we wear, but in the courage we carry. A quiet murmur passed among the younger cadets. Ryan, the cadet who had mocked Elias most harshly at the beginning, shook his head, almost in disbelief. I never realized. I thought armor made you strong. I was wrong. Courage, that's real strength. Lyra nodded, her voice barely a whisper. And it's something we can all have if we choose to. Elias offered a faint smile. He did not need their praise, but he understood its value. Leadership was about guidance, teaching through example and showing others the path, even when that path was difficult. Today, he had done just that. The alien leader continued, its tone thoughtful. Your species shows a rare combination of qualities. Physical capability is limited compared to some others we have encountered. But your adaptability, courage, and willingness to face fear without reliance on external protection, this is unparalleled. You demonstrate a type of strength that cannot be measured by weapons, armor, or numbers alone. The cadets absorbed these words with quiet reverence. Elias had taught them the lesson in action, but now, hearing it acknowledged by beings from another world, it carried even greater weight. Humanity was not only strong, it was respected. One of the younger cadets stepped forward tentatively. Sir, Commander Elias, how did you do it? How did you stay calm? How did you stand unafraid? Elias looked at him, his expression calm but firm. Experience teaches you. Fear is natural, but courage is a choice. Armor can protect your body, but it cannot protect your spirit. When you face fear head-on, when you accept vulnerability, you discover strength you never knew you had. Today, each of you demonstrated that strength. Remember it, use it, protect it. That is what makes humanity extraordinary. The alien leader seemed to nod in acknowledgement of Elias' words. Its eyes scanned the cadets once more, taking in their faces, their expressions, their posture. Observation complete, it said. Humans have revealed a rare combination of qualities. You survive through courage, thrive through adaptability, and lead through example. These are qualities that few species achieve naturally. This is impressive. The cadets could feel the weight of the statement. Respect from another species was not given lightly. It was earned through actions, decisions, and the demonstration of qualities that transcended appearance or tools. Elias had earned it. Humanity, through him, had earned it. Elias picked up his armor, holding it loosely at his side. He did not put it back on immediately, allowing it to rest like a symbol of what he had endured, what he had overcome. The cadets watched silently, understanding that it was not the armor that made him strong. It had only been a tool. The true strength lay in the courage, wisdom, and experience that Elias carried within him. The alien leader extended a limb, a gesture that humans could interpret as acknowledgement or respect. Humanity's potential is clear, it said. Your species possesses qualities that allow survival, adaptation, and leadership in ways few others can match. We will share this observation among other civilizations. Your name, Commander Elias Var, and your demonstration will be remembered. The cadets whispered among themselves, some with pride, some with awe. The recognition was extraordinary. They had not only been tested, they had participated in a demonstration that would shape how the galaxy viewed humanity. Elias returned to the center of the chamber, standing tall and unarmored. Today was not about me, he said. It was about all of you. Each of you has the courage to face fear, the strength to endure challenges, and the ability to make choices that define who you are. That is humanity. That is what we bring to the universe. The cadets looked at each other, feeling a bond strengthened by shared experience. They had faced fear, uncertainty, and ridicule, yet emerged stronger. Elias had guided them, but each cadet had also contributed through their own courage, choices, and resilience. Together, they had shown something extraordinary. The alien leader spoke again, its tone softer now, almost reflective. We have observed many species. Few display the combination of resilience, courage, and adaptability that humans do. Few can stand unshielded and unarmed before uncertainty and emerge stronger. You, Commander, and your cadets have demonstrated qualities worthy of admiration and respect. The cadets felt the significance of the moment. This was not just acknowledgement. This was validation. They had been tested, judged, and now recognized, not for their armor, not for their weapons, but for their spirit. Humanity had shown its true strength. Elias picked up his armor fully, but instead of putting it on, he carried it over his shoulder. It was no longer a symbol of protection. It was a symbol of survival, of challenges faced, and of lessons learned. The cadets understood this without explanation. The man they had once mocked now embodied everything they aspired to be: courageous, resilient, and unyielding. The alien leader inclined its head one final time. This demonstration will influence our understanding of your species. Humanity is unusual, remarkable, and capable of achievements beyond expectations. You have earned our respect, and that respect will extend beyond this chamber. A sense of pride and humility settled over the cadets. They had witnessed a revelation, experienced a test, and emerged stronger and wiser. Their leader, Elias, had not only guided them, he had shown them what it truly meant to be human. Elias looked at each cadet in turn, his gaze steady and reassuring. "Carry this with you," he said. "In every mission, every challenge, every encounter with the unknown, remember what you learned here. Armor can be replaced, weapons can be upgraded, but courage, resilience, and the spirit of humanity cannot be taken from you. They define you. They define us." The cadets nodded, their expressions reflecting understanding, determination, and quiet pride. They had learned a lesson far greater than any drill or simulation. They had learned that the strength of humanity lay not in appearances or equipment, but in choices, courage, and the unyielding will to face the unknown. Outside the chamber, the alien sun cast long beams of light across the training grounds. The cadets walked together, their steps confident and purposeful. They had been tested, they had been humbled, and they had been inspired. Today, humanity had been seen for what it truly was: a species defined by courage, resilience, and the ability to stand unafraid before the unknown. Elias walked with them, carrying his armor, a quiet reminder of battles past and lessons learned. The cadets no longer whispered mockery or doubt. They spoke in admiration, shared insights, and felt a new sense of unity. The events of the day had changed them, not just as cadets, but as humans capable of extraordinary strength. The alien leader and its delegation began to depart, their forms shimmering in the light. Before leaving, it spoke one final time. "Humanity is observed, respected, and acknowledged. You have demonstrated qualities that will influence our understanding of your species. Continue to uphold these qualities and the universe will recognize your strength." Elias nodded. "We will," he said, "and we will remember today." As the alien ships lifted into the sky and disappeared among the stars, the cadets remained for a moment, watching the fading light. They felt a profound sense of accomplishment, pride, and clarity. They had been tested, they had learned, and they had proven something remarkable, not to the aliens alone, but to themselves. Elias turned to his cadets, his expression calm but filled with quiet satisfaction. "Remember this," he said. "Every scar, every challenge, every test is an opportunity to reveal who you truly are. Armor can protect your body, but courage protects the human spirit. Never forget that. Today, we have shown the universe what humanity is capable of. The cadets nodded silently. They understood now. Humanity's greatest strength was not in the armor they wore, not in the weapons they carried, but in the courage, resilience, and unyielding spirit that defined them. The day ended with a quiet pride that needed no words. Elias, the cadets, and even the observing aliens had witnessed something extraordinary, a revelation of human strength that would be remembered far beyond the walls of the academy. And as they left the training grounds, one truth was undeniable. Humanity was more than its armor, more than its technology, more than its appearance. Humanity was courage, resilience, and an unyielding spirit capable of facing the unknown, no matter the odds. The room had been silenced by truth, and the universe had taken notice.